Alright, just let me start by saying FIFA is my game. I've had a version of it on every console I've owned, including handhelds, since the N64, even on the Wii, and man, was that a weird version of the game. I think FIFA is probably the game I spend most of my gaming life playing.
So you might be wondering why a FIFA fan is playing a version that's soon to be 2 years out of date. Well, the reasons are really simple. A, I'm cheap. I got this when FIFA 19 came out because it was about half the price. B, FIFA doesn't really change that much between years most of the time. And C, I support a Scottish team who were relegated that season, so they're not in versions after 18. They probably won't be until at least 25 at this rate. FIFA on the Switch is hands down the best mobile version I've played. It might not be up to PS4 or Xbox One levels, but I'd say it's there with the last generation, the Xbox 360 and the PS3. And I know some people say, well, then the Switch is a generation behind, but I say that's phenomenal for a handheld console. 18's got a variety of modes, including Russian World Cup, Women's International Tournament, Manager Mode, and of course Be a Pro Mode. It doesn't have the journey, but personally I don't see that as a big loss. FIFA for me is about making your own story as a player or a manager, not following a storyline with some matches in between. I'm going to start by looking at the Pro Mode because I don't really play that one, so let's just get out of the way. The reason I don't play it is playing as a single player frustrates me. Maybe it's because I play as a roach team, we hardly ever get the ball, so when we do, I hardly ever get the ball. When I do finally get it, I've either got to run the whole pitch on my own or pass it to a teammate and watch them get tackled. But the gameplay's fine in this mode. The best thing I think about it is that you can control the whole team in matches rather than just your player. So it basically becomes manager mode without the admin of subs, budgets, transfers, blah, blah. And to be honest, that kind of appeals to me. Manager mode, which is what I usually play, it's pretty much what you get from the bigger consoles, minus the cutscenes for negotiations, which personally I can live without. You manage the team, you do the press conferences, you find and buy players, you sell players, renew contract, deal with homesick or frustrated players who don't get in your squad. It's basically like being an office manager, but at least you get to play some of the matches. Personal advice here is don't play as a team you like, because you will get fired. Much like in real life, they don't care about loyalty. Even if you take a rubbish team into the Champions League every season, 2 points off the top, you can still be fired. All right. I was channeling some frustration there, sorry, but you do feel sometimes like you can't win. And I guess that's a feeling that all FIFA players will be familiar with. I mean, is it just me, or in games, do you feel like there's points where you can't stop the computer scoring? Every time you tackle them, the ball falls to them. Your tackles are fouls, their tackles are nothing, and nothing you do stops them. And we all know FIFA's probably not gone to the trouble of programming the game to screw you out of a clean sheet every so often, but it feels that way. And on the Switch, it's no different. I'd also say before I go, I like that the women's game gets a mode in here too. I mean, considering that the FA basically killed the women's game when it got too popular back in the 50s, it's nice to see them trying to do something to undo this, but I will grant you it is literally the bare minimum.
At the end of the day, it's FIFA. You know if you like FIFA or not. All I'll say is that if you've been burnt by handheld FIFAs before, that's not what this is. This won't disappoint you in the same way. FIFA on the Switch is like console FIFA that you can take with you. It's a completely different ballgame. So whether you're in the car, not driving, on the train, you're listening to your wife or husband talk, or hell, you're just sitting on the toilet for a while, FIFA on the Switch will scratch your FIFA itch.